Well, Bradley Cooper's new film, A Star is Born, is coming out in October, and I thought it would be a cool idea to take a look at the many iterations of this classic story. So, with all that said, let's look at the classic 1937 film that started it all, A Star is Born. A Star is Born was directed by William H. Wellman and stars Janet Gaynor and Fredric March. And the story follows Esther, a young farm girl who has big dreams of becoming a movie star. Soon, her grandmother gives her some money and she fulfills her dream of becoming a movie star and moves to Hollywood. And there she meets a famous actor named Norman Maine, and they blossom into a beautiful relationship. And while this is going on, Norman Maine has been going through a bit of a crisis. He's been drinking a lot, and soon his career begins to decline as hers begins to ascend. When doing my research for this movie, it was really interesting looking at that people don't really look at this one as much. This one's considered a classic, but people are more familiar with the 1950s musical with Judy Garland, or the rock and roll Chris Christopherson movie from the 70s. And this one kind of gets to the wayside, and it's interesting because this is really the movie that started it all. This is the first A Star is Born. So, what did I think of the film? I actually really enjoyed this film, and overall just really liked the story overall. It's such a simple story and something you've seen before, but these characters are just so well realized, and I really like each of them. Janet Gaynor as Esther is fantastic and so likable on screen. She just has a giddiness to her that makes her really likable, and she just wants to succeed, and you want to see her succeed. And then on the other hand, you have Fredric March, who is one of my favorite actors. He was in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I know him from the Les Miserables movie from 1935, I think. I love him here as he plays this drunk actor who's washed up, and you can really feel for the guy, but also it's his drinking problem that makes him less desirable of a movie star. This is just a very good role for him and something that was interesting seeing him in, as he's usually the hero, or, I mean, he's a darker character like in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It was really interesting seeing him in this type of role. And yes, this film is romantic and everything, but it has a lot of good commentary as well on just Hollywood in general and how stars can just disappear, become washed up. One bad review could just ruin you, or one bad performance. So, I really like that about the film. It's overall just a really fun film that moves by very quick. This movie isn't very slow paced or anything, so it moves like a speeding bullet from beginning to end, and there's not really any scenes in it that could have been trimmed, really. Everything serves for the story, which is really good. I also particularly love the ending line of the film. I'm not going to say it here or spoil anything because you should see it, or you probably already know this story anyway. But it's just a very profound line that warms your heart. And I think that's what the film does overall. It's a very warm-hearted movie with some great performances from some really good actors and just great commentary overall. This is actually a really good film that I really enjoyed, and it's upsetting that it doesn't get looked at as much as the 1950s A Star is Born, because this is a really good film. And let's face it, you wouldn't have that movie if you didn't have this movie. Also, I find it very interesting that this one deals with actors, whereas the other movies deal with singers. I don't know. That's just really interesting to me. I wonder why none of the remakes have ever done movie stars again. maybe in the next 10, 20 years we'll get another remake and it'll be movie stars. Who knows? But anyway, guys, that's really all I got to say about this. So with all that said, I give A Star Is Born an 8 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. Check back soon for my next review on the 1950s A Star Is Born starring Judy Garland. So look forward to that. And with all that said, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next review.